Good morning, grade 12s. We're going to be starting with chapter 5, general management. So you know all your business functions that we've looked at. You're now going to hone in on the general management side of things. It's all about making decisions, about who's making decisions, the organic structures, the types, how do you make decisions, your management style, etc., etc. So let's get into general management. So the first thing that you need to know is that you've got two types of preneurs. You've got an intrapreneur and an intrapreneur. Now, an intrapreneur, which you've learned in grade 10, is someone who is willing to take risks, will see an opportunity. They will make the decisions. They are the top management level. The onus is on them. The risk is on them. An intrapreneur is someone who is inside. They are still coming up with new ideas. They still make decisions. They will still ensure that ideas turn to profit. So the qualities that either or intrapreneur or an intrapreneur need to have is you need to be an opportunist, you need to see opportunities. You need to have leadership, commitment, perseverance, coordination, determination. All the entrepreneurial qualities that you've learned about before, that's the kind of quality you need to be an intrapreneur within the business or an intrapreneur. Now in business, you have managers. Managers are normally the people that you will report to. A leader is someone who is normally in management positions, but sometimes is not. Have a colleague who is a natural born leader. So there is a difference between being a manager and being a leader. And the one actually seems a little bit more negative than the other, but I have worked for some managers that manage. They maintain systems, they focus on systems, rely on control, accept status quo. The boss says, this is what you're going to do, that's what I'm going to do. Leader is all about developing new methods, focuses on people. A leader is about the people. When I think of a leader, I think of Richard Branson. I think of Nelson Mandela. I think of someone who is very people orientated and is for the people. I mean, Richard Branson actually said that the biggest asset in his business is his people. And if you don't look after the people, you are not going to have a business. So I thought that's his kind of philosophy bodes well in today's society, where a lot of people are just behind computers, behind WhatsApp, and you forget about the person. So a leader will inspire trust, and they will challenge the status quo. They challenge what is, so that you always ask the question, why? We do this, we've always done this, why? Why can't we look at something different? So that's more of a leader, a little bit more inspirational than just a manager. But either or, you're going to be reporting to a manager who is hopefully going to be a leader within that. What's wonderful about leadership is that you can actually learn to be a good leader. I know there's many courses that I went on where you learn different leadership skills, you learn people skills, you learn how to deal with people. So you can learn to be an amazing manager with leadership skills. Right, there are management styles. IB loves to ask these various management styles. I've seen that they like to ask the pros and the cons of some, or they ask you to define what does a transactional leader look like? What do they do? So let's go through the different ones. I know that you are familiar with a democratic leader, laissez-faire, autocratic leader, where my face is in the autocratic little there. There we go. So I know that you're quite comfortable with those. In matric, I'm sure maybe you would have been exposed to it in grade 11, but now we're looking at transactional leaders and transformational leaders. So let's start with a democratic leader. A democratic leader is an amazing leader, or a style, management style. It requires input. So they will normally call a meeting. They will say, this is what I'm thinking of doing. We're looking to launch a vegan range in Checkers where we just sell pre-made vegan meals that people can come and buy a hot meal. What do you think? And then they put it out to the floor. So the cashiers, the merchandisers, marketing, the head office, everyone then have their input into making that decision. It's a very participative style. So I listen to you, you listen to me, we participate. So the other word for democratic is participative style. If you see that in a multiple choice question, know that they might say, what is another word for democratic leader or style? It would be a participative style. What's great about this democratic style is that you get a lot of buy-in. So when you approach people and say, this is what I'm thinking of doing, what do you think? People then start, especially within your organization, start having a voice and start feeling that they are being trusted with their opinions and the way they think, and that you've got a lot of buy-in already. So when you move as a leader, you move the people to this particular idea, you've already got their buy-in, you've already got their commitment because they were aware of it. A lot of people like to be involved in decisions. The disadvantage to the style, as you can believe, is it's going to be a lot slower to make a decision. It takes time to have everybody's input. It takes time to facilitate what everybody thinks. So that would be the one disadvantage with the democratic style. Your laissez-faire style is a style where the manager doesn't want to interfere. Okay, so your manager at that point trusts his staff or her staff and says, you know what, this is our objective. This is where we need to get to. Go. And they let their managers underneath them and their staff underneath them do what they need to do in order to get to that objective. So the advantage of this is that there are goals set and there's no micromanagement. There's no, what are you doing here? Laissez-faire manager trusts what you are doing. The disadvantage with that is not everybody can work like that. Some people need more structure. Some people need to know this is what you expect from me. So you've got to be very careful when you use a laissez-faire style, who are you using this on, quite honest. So for me, I could see this at top management level, not so much on the lower side, not operational, not tactical, definitely top managers, where I would say, this is the big objective, this is what we need to achieve, I trust that you know what we're going to be doing, you need to go and do it. Okay. Your next style is an autocratic style. Now, an autocratic style is someone who does not get anybody's input into the decision. It is someone who makes the decision right there and then and says, this is what we are doing. It works well when there is a crisis. Obviously, if something is going wrong, you need someone to step in to say, right, like with COVID and the retail stores, right, this is what's happening. This is the protective gear you're going to be wearing. We're going to be getting screens. This is how you're going to be working. This is the shifts that we're going to be doing. So someone had to make those decisions. The problem with autocratic is when you are very autocratic all the time and input, you're not going to have people's buy-in. So say, for example, Checker says, by the way, we are launching a new range of kiddies clothing in our store. And you've got no buy-in. Sorry, that's just what it is. And you will need to learn what the styles are. You would need to learn the different sizes of children. It's up to you. You need to learn that. This is what we're going to be launching. So you're not really getting people's buy-in. So you might have staff that say, well, I don't really like the clothes, so I'm not going to sell it. Or I'm going, if customers say, what do you think of the clothing? I'm going to say no comment. So some people do get a little bit itchy when they haven't been involved in the decision. So staff feel undervalued. Okay. So autocratic is very good for crisis situations on your everyday decisions. Then we move on to a transactional leader. Now, think of the word transaction. A transaction is when I give you something. So you go to a shop and then there's a transaction that takes place. You buy the clothes and you take the clothing and you give me money. A transactional leader is all about give and take. So this leader says to you, you know what, if you can give me the sales objective, if you can make sure that we're going to be hitting all our targets, so we're going to be making a lot of profits, I'm going to make sure that you get a bonus. So it's a give and a take. It's dangling that carrot like that picture is showing. So it's very rewards based. The problem with that, and you'll see in our next slide when we get to what motivates people, is that money, reward, the motivator can only last for so long. Because once you receive the reward and you've spent the reward, it no longer has any value, to be quite honest with you. And then you're right back to square one, and your manager, if you're using the style, I'm then going to have to keep rewarding you for doing your job. So a lot of the times managers will say, you come to work, you get paid to do something. Why must I reward you extra? So we've got to be careful with transactional. It's nice though. You can bring it in every now and again. So think of a cashier of the month where you say, you know what, cashier, get a good review from customers and a good review from your colleagues and a good review from managers, because we do a 360-degree review. We will then give you a checkers voucher to the value of R1,000. So every person, every cashier has an opportunity to win that, and then they try extra hard. But to say to a cashier, you will get a reward if you are kind and friendly to a person every month, I think it's going to be short-lived, because their salary is not going to be seen as very, not much, and the reward eventually loses its value. It really does. Or you always have that one person who's always going to get the reward. So then the other people are demotivated anyway. Okay, so transactional is something new. Remember, transaction, give and take. Transaction is the word you're going to remember. Transaction is give and take. Transformational is a management style. Quite wonderful. Not many people can have a transformational style. This is a very charismatic person. It's a very charismatic style. It's very motivating. You are all about the team. I would say an advantage is that you've got people excited about what you're doing. A disadvantage is that it can be tiring. For the manager, always have to be on point. I would think some teachers are transformational, has a transformational style, because you've always got to try and bring students in and always try and make things fun and always try and motivate and encourage. And at the end of the day, a teacher is a very, very tired creature, really, really. So I think a transformational leader is wonderful, in the sense that you are ensuring people are always working towards a goal, and you're always telling them about the goal. Guys, this is the goal, we're nearly there. But as I said, it requires a lot of energy, and you've got to be on form all the time, hey? All the time. You can't have a bad day as a transformational leader. The last management style that you will see is a situational style, and that is any one of these styles. It's a combination of a democratic and a transformational, or a transactional and an autocratic. It's either one of these styles. So remember, grade 12, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 styles that you need to understand and you need to be able to talk about. Let's talk about motivational factors. Now, I've seen this in an IB exam. They do like this question, especially the non-money one. So we're going to get to that, okay? So in business, look, money can be a motivator. So what is a motivated employee? A motivated employee, you're going to get good customer service. A motivated person is very productive. They're not absent. They come to, there's less strikes. Word of mouth is positive about the business. And generally, these people will boost morale with everybody else. So someone who is motivated is really so much value to your business. So there's 2 ways you can motivate people, by money or non-money. Now, money, believe it or not, is temporary. Money is temporary. I tell you what, grade 12s, even with me, when I get my salary increase for that month, thereafter, it just becomes part of my salary. You don't even see it as a salary increase anymore. And the thing is, I find the more you have, the more you spend sometimes. Really, you want the fancier car or the fancier dress or the fancier house or whatever the case is. So money is temporary. You can use money in various ways. So you can have a performance bonus. So performance bonus is over and above your salary. So they would then, the company and you and your boss would sit down and they would, hold on, let me just do that. Sorry. So some of the money benefits, so performance bonus, that's what I was explaining to you. So your boss and you would sit down and they would be, the company would say to you, if you achieve the profits and you achieve all the measurables that we put into place for you, you could then have a portion of a bonus. And then they also move it down to an individual bonus. So they would then sit down and say, right, they talk about KPIs. key performance indexes, which is objectives, but very measurable. So you would then have to say, I'm going to achieve X amount of sales within this division. So for example, it could be Checkers, and they say, our bakery needs to grow by 5%. So that would be up to me. So then and then you've got measurables in place to say, what do I need in order to achieve that 5%? And then you could possibly gain some money at the end of the year or the end of the financial year for the company over and above your salary. So that's something that's quite nice as a performance bonus. You also have profit sharing opportunities. So the shareholders will share profits with you, a paid holiday, or anything that's with regards to money. But remember, your holiday, you go on holiday, you come back, and it's forgotten. You know, that's just the way it is. So money is very temporary. Let's get into the non-money side of things. Now, non-money, and you actually do need to make a note of these, is the first is job enlargement. So what a boss could do is they could say, you know, if you're doing such a phenomenal job, we're going to give you more work and different work. And I would like you to get involved in this project and that project where you are actually getting exposure to top managers. So that already will start making you feel, wow, they see me and they respect what I do, and I have a career path. Because if they're starting to give me more responsibility and I'm working on different projects, they obviously see me and I could be in line to the next promotion. So job enlargement is a non-motivational factor. You feel good about it. You really, really do. Job enrichment is where they give you more responsibility and authority. So now they say to you, we want you to be the lead on this project. So we want to automate our trolleys. We want to mechanize our trolleys and put computer little screens in our trolleys. I want to be the head, the project head on this project. With job enlargement, you're not getting more money. With job enrichment, you're not getting more money, but you're getting more recognition from the business. So job enrichment, more responsibility, more authority, they trust you. And it bodes well for you, because if you are seen to be able to take on more and to be in charge of people, you are going to be promoted. You are going to be moving up. And it might be a slow burn, but eventually you will get up to top management level. The non-money motivator is empowerment and advancement. So you empower people and you advance them. So you allow them to learn new skills. So you say to them, listen, what would I really believe that you should go on a financial course, because I'd love for you to understand the finances about Checkers and understand how it all works, because that, if you've information is power. So that again, you're learning new skills, and the company's recognizing this and wants to give you the opportunity to better yourself. So empowerment and advancement is definitely a non-money motivational factor. Other non-money motivational factors is flexible hours. So some companies will say, you know what, come in, you've just got to do your 8 hours. You can either come in at 9 and leave at 5, or you come in at 8 and leave at 4. It depends. I think especially now with COVID, and that's why you've just got to maybe put a little staticky there. With COVID, a lot of people have had to work at home. So before, companies weren't really trusting with hours. Now companies have put mechanisms in place where you can actually work from home. People haven't gone back to work. They're still working from home, which again, it leads to quality a little bit for the person, because you're not traveling an hour in the traffic. You're at home, you can stop and have some lunch at home. The advantage to it is that people are working hard at home. The disadvantage, it's not all people. Not all people work from home. Hey, I think there's lots of distractions, I think in the beginning, but I think it depends on the kind of person you are, if you could work from home or not. So another non-money motivational factor is recognition of good work. It is where someone will stand up in a meeting and say, you know what, I would just like to thank for being an absolute star. He came to the party. He was there when we needed him. You know, one of our cashiers didn't come, and he's a manager. He got behind that till and he did what he had to do. So that kind of recognition of good work is also, it bodes well. It lasts longer than money. Being appreciated and feeling that you're appreciated is also a good thing. And in programs that businesses put together for employees, it really shows that they care, and it does motivate people. Grade 12s, I'm going to leave it at that so that you can get your notes sorted. Please remember, you need to go through your textbook while you are going through my notes. Your textbook and my notes and my videos need to be correlated together so that you make sure that you've got definitions for things, that you are able to talk. My role is to try and make it understandable to you, but you must refer to textbook at all times. It really is, the textbook's going to help you formulate your notes with my notes, with my videos over here. Okay, grade 12s, I'm going to put a stop now, and then I'm going to carry on recording, and the next thing we're going to get into is management tasks. So it's our polk, da-da-da-dum. Till next time, have a great day.